Police officers, when a kid calls 911 as a prank, what do? Last Sunday afternoon, I was sitting in my patrol car finishing paperwork when dispatch crackled to life. All units, we have a 911 hang-up from 4127 Maple Street. Caller sounded like a child, said mom's not breathing, then disconnected. My partner Jake looked at me and rolled his eyes. Another prank call? These kids don't understand how serious this is. But something about the dispatcher's tone made my stomach drop. The voice had been shaky, scared. We hit the lights and sirens anyway. Better safe than sorry. The whole drive there, I kept thinking about all the fake calls we'd gotten lately. Kids thinking it's funny to tie up emergency services. Last month, some teenager called saying there was a fire at the school. Turned out he just wanted to get out of a math test. When we pulled up to 4127 Maple Street, everything looked normal. Nice little house with a white picket fence. No ambulance needed here, I thought. No chaos, no emergency vehicles, no neighbors gathered around looking worried. Just a quiet Sunday afternoon. I knocked on the door, ready to give some kid the lecture of their life about wasting police resources. The door opened, and there was this little boy, maybe 8 or 9 years old. Blonde hair, wearing a Pokemon t-shirt that was way too big for him. But his eyes, man, his eyes looked terrified. "Hey buddy," I said, crouching down to his level. "Did you call 911 today?" He nodded slowly, his bottom lip starting to quiver. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to touch the phone." Jake was already pulling out his notebook, probably ready to write up another prank call report, but I held up my hand. Something wasn't right here. The kid wasn't acting like the usual pranksters we dealt with. He wasn't giggling or trying to run away. He looked genuinely scared. "Where's your mom, buddy?" I asked gently. His eyes darted toward the hallway, then back to me. "She's sleeping on the couch, but she won't wake up and she's making weird noises." That's when my training kicked in. "Can we come inside and check on her?" He stepped aside, wringing his little hands. As soon as I walked into the living room, I saw her. A woman in her 30s, unconscious on the couch, breathing shallow and raspy. On the coffee table next to her were 3 empty pill bottles, oxycodone, Ambien, and something else I couldn't read from that distance. "Call for an ambulance," I told Jake immediately. Then I turned back to the boy. "What's your name, sweetie?" "Tommy," he whispered, tears starting to roll down his cheeks. "Is mommy gonna be okay?" I tried to wake her up, but she just made scary sounds. I remembered you're supposed to call 911 when someone's hurt, but then I got scared because mommy always says don't talk to strangers on the phone. My heart broke right there. This kid had done exactly what he was supposed to do, but he thought he was in trouble for it. I knelt down next to him while Jake checked on his mom. "Tommy, you did the right thing calling us. You might have saved your mom's life." The paramedics arrived within 5 minutes. They immediately started working on Tommy's mom, checking her pulse, setting up an IV, asking Jake about the pill bottles. I stayed with Tommy, who had grabbed onto my leg and wouldn't let go. "I thought you were gonna arrest me," he sobbed into my uniform. "I thought I was bad for using the phone." "No, buddy, you're a hero," I told him, rubbing his back. "You saw your mom needed help and you called the right people. That takes courage." The paramedics got Tommy's mom stabilized and loaded her into the ambulance. Turns out she'd taken way too many pills, probably by accident while she was already drowsy. If Tommy hadn't called when he did, if we hadn't responded, if I had just dismissed it as another prank, she wouldn't have made it. While we waited for Tommy's grandmother to arrive, he sat in my patrol car and I let him play with the siren. He kept asking if his mom was going to be okay, and I promised him the doctors were going to take really good care of her. 2 weeks later, Tommy's mom brought him by the station. She was doing better, going to counseling, being more careful with her medications. Tommy ran up to me with a drawing he'd made. It was a stick figure police officer with a big smile, standing next to a little boy and a house. "This is you saving my mom," he said proudly. That drawing is still taped to my locker.